Another crafting recipe, yeah. Act 3 is a wondrous place. It is going to be an incredibly important boost of power for us in our labyrinth, not to mention also gaining access to most of the supports in the game. And it's also going to be the place that is going to test us the most in lab. Lab is a place where you could die. You could die to lab quite easily if you don't pay attention, a lapse of judgment, a wrong click, a misguided AFK, and you're dead. So lab is a place you have to pay attention. If you don't, it could spell death. Much like I identified that strongbox there, and it did have a freeze on it. So if I didn't do that, I might be in a bad position. Now I know that my 4 flask here is freeze immunity, so if I click this, click 4, I'm out of my freeze. But that's the sort of thing where if you don't pay attention, you freeze yourself, and then you spawn a bunch of bullshit on you, you could just be dead. So, it's always good to think ahead, you know. Proper planning leads a proper result. A blood letter. That is a decent right ring. It has res, life, dex, and it's on a 2-stone. We are going to take that ring. That is a good ring for us. That is going to replace our... probably our right ring, because our right ring has, like, actually no fucking stats on it, so... let's get that bad boy out of there. Alright, Act 3. Now, because we're in Act 3, and we are at a certain level, like the high 20s to low 30s in this area, we actually are going to have something really nice, which is the vendor's going to start being able to sell us 4 links, or we're going to start being able to drop 4 links, which is something we're definitely going to be looking out for. Now, the 4 link we want is going to be 2 red, 2 blue, most likely. We could probably do 1 red, 3 blue, but we want 2 red, 2 blue, ideally. You'd see the 4 sockets, which means there's going to be potential for a 4 link. There's a lot of 4 sockets happening. It's also good to check these, the wand vendors in case she offers something substantial, which is not likely, but it's possible. While we're here, let's just send back our poor little sniper to dismiss her. Here's the sewer grating, which we're going to take down. That's going to end up in the next section in Act 3, but first we have to go into the crematorium and do a lab trial, and also get the key thing. This fucking rare's making consecrated ground. It's like I'm fighting myself. Couple fusings, I'll take it. Alright, we found our first Val side zone, which is players cannot inflict exposure. That's the only modifier. We're going to do this. Val side zones have sacrificial fragments used to do the Adziri fight, but the interesting part is they also can give you Val gems and have corrupted outcomes from the final chest. However, the bosses in Val side zones can get a little bit spicy. So it's good to note which ones are what and what they do. And this one, I believe, is the Siren or the Bug, which isn't too scary. So we're just going to take a little peek-see and see which one it is. But the modifiers in the area aren't bad in general, so we're pretty comfy. Ooh, a 2-socket chest. That could be a 4-link. And it is not. Oh. Alright, so there's the boss. We can denote it's the boss because it's denoted by the little book. So there's the lore book next to the bosses in side zones. I hear explosions, so I'm thinking it's probably the Bug. Level 28. Nice. Constitution wheel, huge life wheel. We're over 1,000 life now, which is huge. Yep, there's the Bug. The Bug does have some big explosions you gotta watch out for, but we're okay just hanging out for a little bit. He's dead. The Bug is dead. Alright, Val Vessel has... we get a Val Flicker Strike. That is it. A non-quality shit Val Flicker Strike. So we are out of there. Alright, here's the crematorium. This is the next section. There is a lab trial in here. There is a quest progression in here. So we're going to do all the stuff. I did see a mercenary as well. What is our fire res? Our fire res is 55. We're pretty comfy then. Because this one is the fire ground one. The whole gist of this area is you hit some levers. Don't stand on the ground when it's all fiery, but we could just movement skill over stuff, so we're not too concerned. Plus, we've got so much life regen, we could probably just walk right through and barely take any damage. This does make us 4 out of 6 now for lab, and that's pretty hot. Striker. Striker has... nothing at all. 1 transmutation. Alright, we got the quest progression here in Piety, but we also have an essence we'll just do, because it's here. Why not? I think we actually pulled Piety, though. We walked too far north. Now we've got Piety attacking us with an essence, but that's fine. We'll just take care of one thing at a time here. Alright, Piety is somewhere up here. There she is. Another crafting recipe too. Whoa! Alright, there she goes. And here is Tolman. Tolman's bracelet. Proof of his death. It's kind of a funny thing. We give it to Clarissa and she says, yeah, okay, yeah, Tolman's fucking gone. Here's a fucking key for the sewers. Enjoy. Alright, cool, man. And we do get a new something. A curse, a support. Really, it depends what we want to pick. Zealotry is a pretty comfy one. It gives us more spell crit. It gives us more spell damage, so that's a good one to pick in general. We probably end up going Hatred, because that gives us the most actual damage, since it's gained as cold, and most of the spells we're using or totems are going to be physical based. Looking for 4 links. No 4 link. That's not a 4 link. Alright, let's head back to the sewers. Well, back to the grate to go into the sewers. We have the key now. Alright, here's the sewer grating. Click, and in we go. Now, the sewers really have only one thing. It's the busts. We have to have 3 heads, 3 bust heads. We're going to snag, and those are going to give us a passive. You can tell where they are because they're little yellow dots on the map. Oh, 4 link. There we go. And it's a 3 blue, 1 red, which isn't bad. We just might have to recolor that, depending on how we want to do stuff. We have some chromatics, so that's not a big deal. But that's good. That's going to yield some positive results. We might be changing up our main skill here in a second, because getting into Act 3 here, we do have access to a new set of skills after we fight, I believe, General Gravicius. So we're going to be dabbling in that momentarily. Let's grab another bust here. That puts us at 2 out of 3. So we did just level, and one thing we're probably going to start working towards is picking up the framework for a lot of the other stuff in the skill tree that we want. There's a lot of nodes we want to grab, and eventually we're probably going to go Mind Over Matter, which involves using Eternal Blessing to allocate a portion. We'll just allocate a free aura, basically, and then have our mana pool be like a part of our EHP to soak up stuff. Now, one thing when it comes to that, it's going to change our pathing a little bit, but that doesn't really matter at the moment. We'll end up using different skills and different things. But for right now, I think we're just going to grab some more damage in the form of Primal Manifestation, and then pick up the crit node for the if you've summoned a totem recently portion. We also want to get the left side that gives the totem life and res. It kind of covers all the defenses you need. Then we're going to work on branching out into probably more life and mana. Down here, we do have this little Cassia setup. This is for Blight. This is our introduction to Blight, which is involved around summoning these, towers that stop these pumps from getting destroyed by the mobs that come in. It's really, really tricky to do this, actually, at this stage of the game. And it can be lethal, so we're just going to keep our distance and do the best we can. But I find this to be way overtuned for this stage of the game. Like, I feel like there's very little you could do as the player that prevents this pump from breaking here. Like, we're not remotely strong enough to stop it. I feel like the towers are also damn near impossible to build fast enough. Ooh, a rare wand. Don't see those too often. Well, it's the wrong type of wand. It's a summoning wand. There's a 3rd bust, so we are all busted out. I think we might swap to Stormburst totems now once we get back to town. I feel like we have enough linkage now. On a 4-link, we could feel like dropping to a spell totem setup. Okay, we are exiting the sewers and entering the light of the marketplace. A little bit stronger, a little bit faster. We do have to get this ornate chest for this decanter, because we did say we're doing all the side quests, which includes the decanter side quest. It'd be a real shame if one of these big statues came to life and started wailing on me. Oh no! Is that Marcius the Defeated? It's not, it's the Defaced. Well, he looks pretty defeated to me. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Grab that waypoint and head over here to the Catacombs to get our 5th out of 6th lab trial. This is one of those weird zones that has no purpose but having a lab trial. There's not even a secondary objective here. But this lab trial is quite important because it teaches you one of the fundamental lab mechanics, which is the Roomba. A Roomba Roombas around. And that is what a Roomba does. Where a Roomba goes, nobody knows, but we follow it nonetheless. Crafting recipe. And here is the click. 5 out of 6. Let's head back to town, hand in our busts, and change our build ever so slightly. Now, we still have to get our body to be 2-2, which should be easy because it is a strength int, so it has a proclivity to roll blue and red. Hopefully, chrome number 1, failure. Chrome number 2, Omega failure. Chrome number 3, absolute failure. Chrome number 4, still failed. Chrome number 5, still failed. And Chrome number 6, still failed. That was unfortunate. I'm now checking vendors like a rat for 1, 2, 3 combos, which do vendor for a chromatic. Any sort of tricolor linkage. It's desperate times, but you know, desperate times sometimes still leads to failure. Now really we could work with 1 red, 3 blue, or 3 red, 1 blue, but we can't have any green. What we can do though is we could turn jewelers, which we don't have many of, into a chromatic and hope, there we go, and hope we succeed, which we did. So that's really nice. So for our actual shit here, we're gonna do Fizz to Lightning, okay, as the other one. And then normally we would do something like Increased Duration, because Stormburst does more damage per seconds of remaining duration, which we currently just don't have. But we're about to be able to pick up Increased Duration pretty soon here. So we'll probably just rock the 3-link for now. And then very, very soon we're going to swap over to the fullness. Now this thing is a white body. We do have essences. Well, the essences we have are no good. We could at least guarantee a cold res, which is something. Sure, it rolled double res life. That'll do. Fantastic. So we now have our 3-link Stormburst totem with room for 4. We can get these old gems out of here. And we're off to some level of progress here. We are heading now back to the marketplace to progress onwards in Act 3. And Stormburst is going to yield a much better result. We can also drop Herald of Ash because it does... I mean, it doesn't do nothing for us. It's fine for now. We're going to be dropping it pretty fucking soon. Actually, can we drop it right now? I think we can have access to Purity of Elements. We don't have Blessings yet, but we might have access to Purity of Elements. We do. So there's Purity of Elements. Purity of Elements are going to be running for a very long time. What this gives us is a bunch of all-res, and then the larger thing is immunity to elemental ailments. I do not like being status affected, especially in hardcore. This means we are now safe from that shenanigans. We're going to put this on a blessing eventually, and then move our vitality onto our life pool with the arrogant support. This is all, you know, more to-do stuff, but I'm in the wrong place. But this is going to be great for just giving us an extra inch of survivability, and also making us now close to res cap. Way tankier though overall. So now we got our Stormburst totems active. This is going to be definitely nicer for single target and clear as we progress up, because it is just a better totem set, more damage. This is actually doing pure lightning damage now currently. But we do have to put some points in duration, otherwise it's not going to be super useful, but we're gonna, it's a process. This thing ironically rolled lightning resistance, which is why it's extra fucking tanky right now. We get to fight it alongside of a red beast. A bloodletter with a chaos. Oh, baby. There's the ribbon spool for the quest progression. And we are on to the docks for 2 quests, I believe, here. Level 30, we're so close to 100. Well, the one positive from changing off of Holy Flame especially is the mana cost of this, because it's a channeled skill, the totems are basically eating the mana cost. That's not coming out of my mana. And the mana cost went from 20-something to like 2. So I can actually take this point out now of the skill costing and put it back into Primal Manifestation, which for totems is like a triple threat for Stormburst, because duration of the actual skill is what gives it a damage, although I don't think totem duration affects it directly. Skill effect duration does, which is why you end up on builds like this putting points into Potency of Will and grabbing that sort of stuff and running more duration, because it ends up yielding more damage from Stormburst. But overall, it's a pretty substantial point that when you get for the 60% damage, or the thing that says they taunt, all that sort of stuff is quite good for the masteries. Fairgraves, hello friend. I have to find the chittest plum now. Where's my plum? Let's see, a shrine. Let's just be careful. I'm not sure what shrine it is. Divine shrine? Diamond shrine. Yeah, spooky. And another diamond shrine. First time fighting a war priest. Kind of cool. Their crit shrines active. You just gotta watch out, because these guys have a bunch of summons and they just like override the natural summoning cap, and will just make like 20-30 minions out of nowhere. Whoa, the Shipyard Terror. Very spooky. He's cycloning at me. There is my Thalmetic Sulfite. which is one half of the thing to open up the gate. I now have to head back to the battlefront in order to go right in the Solaris Temple area. Solaris Temple level 1 has nothing in it but a path to level 2, so on to level 2 we go. Since we're running Purity of Elements, we no longer have to worry about popping strong boxes, because we can't get frozen, since we're immune to being frozen. We can just kind of hit them at our leisure. Okay, Temple level 2, here we go. The Goddess of Purity, the Boss of Solaris 2. Kind of a nothing fight, but sure, there she is. This guy has determination and vitality, that's crazy. Waypoint, and here is Dialia. No love for the lady. We are going to take the... probably just the strength amulet. I could take the jade in case I need it, but yeah, I guess I'll take the jade. I might need some dex. I don't think I do, but I might. In the Eternal Laboratory here, there's really nothing going on, but there is a crafting recipe you can grab, so I tend to grab it. It's a little bit of fire damage, doesn't really matter. Strength, mana res, that's an upgrade, sure. Grigor. Hello, Mr. Grigor. Alright, now we're heading back to the sewers to open up the passage. Then we have a split between Gravicius, or we can go to the Imperial area. We'll probably go to the Imperial area first, just because I want to go to the library so I could grab some supports. That just means we are going to go to the right versus the left initially. Normally I do the opposite, but I would like to get these supports. The Imperial Garden. The lab trial is here, the Chittis Plum is here, the library entrance, the Dominus Tower entrance. There's a lot going on here. There's the waypoints. We can get back easily. Here's our first divination card in Emperor's Luck. 1/5 of a random small stack of currency unlocked. Because we fully swapped to Stormburst, we can actually free up our left wand. We no longer need +1 fire spells, so that doesn't really do anything. Also don't need mana flasks anymore because our mana cost is like nothing. Here is the library. It's time to learn. Books.